prevent cost overruns in construction. Do you want to know how to actually cut costs in construction? If so, what is the main strategy? Well, that's what we're going to cover right now. So let me give you a secret, and this is going to make this whole video worthwhile. The secret to life, to marriage, to running a business and delivering a construction project, and to cutting costs is to add value. In any scenario, even in your employment, instead of always being in the mode of subtraction in our lives, what we don't want to do, we should be in the mode also, or most of the time, in the mode of what am I going to do? How am I going to add value? Am I adding value enough to where my employer would never consider letting me go, right? Am I adding enough value in my marriage to where, like, there is no worry about the strength of that marriage? Am I adding enough value in my business to where I have raving fan clients? And am I adding enough value to where this project doesn't go wrong? That is the key. And so this is what I want everybody to watch out for. And project managers, be ready to get mad at me. I see so many project managers just going through and cutting costs. Do we need that? No. Do we need that? We don't need that consultant. Oh, we can slash that budget. Let's do better here. Oh, let's cut that out of the budget. Cut. I have seen people that will literally just try and manage their project from the standpoint of how many costs can I cut out of this, and they never look at engaging and adding value and preventing massive problems. And then they get into a scenario where they've now predicted the failure of their project, and now they're going to have massive overruns on the back end. You can't do that. You have to buy and pay for the things that you need to make sure the project goes right. You cannot manage through subtraction. Now, can you do both? Yes. You can add value and make sure that you have everything you need to make sure that project goes well, and that you pay for it and buy it, and that your budgets are properly identified. And then you can say, are there any costs here that I don't need? And you can cut from there. But you can't manage through subtraction. You have to manage through value, and you can actually do it through value and subtraction. So here's what I mean. If you want your project to go well, you will not just reduce budgets and negotiate. You'll actually plan the darn project. So that's step number one. The predictor of success for construction projects isn't did I slash enough budgets and did I reduce my expenses. It was, did we plan it well enough? So you see what I'm getting at here, right? It costs money to plan. It costs money to be in pre-construction. It costs money to get the right people there doing the right things. It costs money to get this thing started off right. And if you've started off with a mentality of subtraction, you're going to reduce or diminish or remove these altogether. But these were the things from the beginning that were going to really determine the success of your project. So you have to plan the project. That means the right people. That means the right systems. That means the right integration. That means the amount of time that you need. Historically, projects will be 65% over on their duration and on their budget if they don't plan their project right. So if you want to reduce real costs, not just job cost report like little budget line item costs. If you want to reduce real costs, then plan the project right and spend the money on the front end. I hate it when we take the money from the front end and just add it to a contingency bucket so we can spend 5, 6, 10 times the amount of money, but just in a more acceptable bucket. It's easier to pay for things out of contingency than early on in the budget up front. No. Get the right people, get the right training, get the right resources, spend the right amount of time, and plan the darn project. That's step number one. Step number two, and I've already mentioned it in my intro, but you must add value. So when you're planning that project, plan value-added activities and pay for them. Step number three, take the time you need. Do not shortchange your pre-construction efforts. An hour in pre-con will save days or weeks in the field, period. Projects do not go bad, they start bad. So make sure you're giving the planning of that project enough time. That is how you prevent cost overruns. 4, build the budget not just from your budget or your historical information. Build the budget according to your plan. Meaning this is typically how it goes. We have a project, here's the budget, let me create the estimate, and then we plan the project. Wait a minute, what? Why would we do it that way? Here's the project, here's how we need to build this, let's come up with a plan, and let's actually have a budget that reflects the plan, right? That is another key way to prevent overruns, because now you have a budget that matches the plan and how you're going to build it. That is key. Step number 5, and this can be before you finalize the budget, but tear your plan apart, right? If you know you have the project and you create a project plan, tear it apart. Here's the key. This is how you can make sure that you don't have overruns. Not only should you identify your risks, but you should anchor to relevant data, meaning that if there was another project and it costs, $1.20 per square foot to get this done. But we're like, no, I think we can get it done for $1 per square foot. No. Anchor to proper historical data. If it took $1.20 here, it's probably going to take $1.20 here. Make sure that you have the right budget. Make sure that you have the right risks identified. And here's the key. You must have those risks covered. So when you're pricing out that plan, or you're making sure you have a whole budget, if you have a risk, or if you've said, hey, here's this $1.20 versus this dollar projection, these are some holes in my plan that could be cost overruns. You only have 3 things that you can do with it. You can fix the problem so it doesn't become a cost overrun, or you can just absorb it out of contingency and fee, or you can actually cover your risks with time and money and make sure that you have a backup plan that can effectively counteract those risks and those overruns. That's all you can do, right? You can fix it, you can absorb it, or you can cover it. That's it. So here's a quick analogy. Would you like to go into the knife of a surgeon that doesn't do very much pre-planning? They create a budget without actually looking at the MRI or the scans, and they haven't really done a full diagnosis, and they haven't planned the surgery. So they're going to budget what you're going to be charged without making a plan. And then the doctor shows up day 1, hey, what are we doing here this day, right? And then during the surgery is like, hey, let's go ahead and figure it out as we go, right? How comfortable would you feel? Like, you wouldn't feel comfortable at all. You'd be like, hold on. Nobody's taking a knife to me unless we do the tests, get the blood work, look at the scans, the doctor's made a plan, time blocked the surgery out, told me the risks, gotten the help, set up the surgery room, estimated what this would cost, right? And then prepared ahead of time and was present with a plan A, B, C, or D. You see my point? Like, why would we on construction projects disconnect our budget from the plan, not do enough pre-planning, and then really just try and figure it out as we go? We wouldn't do that with our own surgery. We wouldn't do that with our own childbirths, right? We wouldn't do that with our own lawyers. We wouldn't do that anywhere in our personal lives. We wouldn't do that. Why are we doing it with $100 million construction projects? So if you want to really prevent overruns, we've got to plan that project right. We have to know the risks with that plan. We have to cover those risks. And we have to build our budgets appropriately so we don't have overruns. This is just how it's done. And it's not going to happen by management through reduction. It's going to come by adding value and preparing and planning. That's how you prevent cost overruns. And so even if you just read the first couple pages in the book, please read the book, How Big Things Get Done, and you'll see the importance of planning as it relates to reducing costs. And I'll give you a link to our pre-construction planning Miro board so you can see an outline of the things that are crucial for you to make sure that you have a great plan and budget and that you prevent those overruns. Essentially, it all comes down to, do I have a plan? Do I know my risks? Do I have proper anchors? And do I have that covered? And do I have a budget built properly from it? Really, this is the pattern. And I hope you internalize that pattern and can use that pattern. Please don't just go into elimination mode. Start adding value and prevent the overruns from ever happening. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.